Welcome back everybody to Car Rental Coach. In this video, I'm going to be telling you about the 6 ways that you can make money on Turo outside of just renting out money from cars, right? So the majority of people think that the only way you can make money on Turo is through actually renting out the vehicles. But what I've learned from being a host for a little bit of time is that there are other ways that you can make money through some things I'm going to be talking about this video. Hey guys, it's Peter with Car Rental Coach. This is the channel where if you're serious about your car rental business, you're in the right place. So here we're going to tell you how to expand your car rental business or some tips and tricks to help you start a car rental business. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our great content that we're coming out with on a consistent basis. Now, before I start here, to those people that are serious about their car rental businesses and they want to start one, but you just don't know where to start. You don't know about insurance claims, you don't know if the car is going to rent, you just have no idea what to do. You don't even know how to buy a car. Then if that's you, but you're serious about it and you're like, I want this to be my business, then I want you to go to carrentalcoach.com. On there, there's gonna be a 60-second survey that you fill out. If you answer that survey and you qualify to work with us, then you'll actually be able to book a call with somebody from my team. I actually still hop on the calls pretty periodically. So for those people that are serious, go there, do it, and hopefully we'll be hearing from you soon. You get a car, you list it, you keep it at one price. Now, for anybody that's been on our channel before, you know that there are a couple different ways that you can do pricing. You can do automatic pricing on Turo, where essentially there's a range, right? So let's say that Turo recommends that the car rents between $30 and $60. You get to set the minimum and maximum, and then depending on demand, Turo will set the price of your car. Then there's the manual pricing. That's where you're saying, ooh, I don't want it to be based off of that range. I want to specifically set the price on the car. Now, we do a little bit of a combination of both. I like the automatic pricing with the minimum and the maximum because then I know the least amount that I'll be getting versus the most amount that I'll be getting. That's not really the tip. That was more so to explain it to you guys. The big thing I want you to be doing here is that you want to be looking at the pricing. If this is your business and you're serious about it, then you should be doing it on a daily basis. If this is more of a side hustle for you, then you should be doing it on a weekly basis. The reason why I'm saying this is because specifically for the automatic pricing, let's talk about that first. For the automatic pricing, Turo changes that minimum and maximum amount that they recommend pretty consistently in super busy markets daily. Slower markets, maybe it's more so on a weekly thing, but you always want to make sure that you're within the range, because when you get out of the range, then it pushes down your listing on the algorithm. So you want to make sure that you're within there. Now, on the contrary, if you're just doing the manual pricing, you want to make sure that, and look at this for the automatic too, but you want to make sure that your car is in market price, right? So a prime example, let's say that you have a 2018 Toyota Corolla and all the other cars in that market are listed at $40. You don't want to be listed at $60 because people are going to look at your car, they're going to look at a car identical to your car, and they're going to go with the one that's less expensive. But let's talk about a different scenario. There are 2 cars that are listed. There's one car that it's $40 a day, 2018 Toyota Corolla. So $40 a day, car only has 5 reviews, 2 of the reviews are 1 star. It says that the guest doesn't respond, car's consistently dirty. It just doesn't seem like it's a car that somebody would want. Now on the other end, you see a listing where it's $45, but you see 55-star reviews. They go and look at the reviews, they see, oh, car's always clean, host is very responsive, outstanding experience overall. Now, I would say that a guest is probably gonna go with that one that's 45 that has a little bit more of those good-looking reviews under the belt. So that's another thing to look into pricing. If you're newer, you might want to be a little bit on the lower end. If you're more experienced, you have some trips under your belt, then the higher end would be something that would be better for you. Well, let's talk about a different thing first here before I get into damage claims. And this is actually something that I wasn't planning on talking about in this video, but it's important for you guys to know is your before and after pictures for all the vehicles. So specifically for our business at Car Rental Coach, we're really specific with our 56 cars. So our car manager, he's taking around like 100 to 200 before and after pictures of the car to make sure that that car is in really good shape before and after. And the big reason for taking those pictures is that, let's say for a prime example, there's a scratch that's right next to the gas. If you just took pictures where you're 20 or 30 feet away, then you might not be able to see that scratch, or more importantly, you can't see that scratch through the picture. But let's say you go up and you see that scratch and it's pretty severe, like it's enough where people are commenting on it when they get your car saying, ooh, nice car, but looks like somebody heated or something near the gas cap. It just doesn't look good. If you take enough pictures, you can actually get that, you can get money for that through Turo. So again, with the example, if you take 5 far away pictures and you can't see it, Turo's gonna say, we really can't see it. It's not that big of a deal. You're not gonna get any money for it. But if you're taking 20 pictures and you're zooming in on certain areas of the car, such as the interior, the infotainment system, the seats, some of those, to make sure that that's all in good shape, then you're more likely to get money for it because you have those pictures. Now, I'll give you a prime example, right? This was something that I didn't even know about. Again, I love my Mitsubishi Mirages. This one was with the 2019 Mirage, and somebody, I guess they backed into something or they rear-ended something. The point that I'm making here is that there was a little mini crack in the bumper. It was probably like this big, right? And it was split. So the bumper was obviously cracked, and the guest didn't let me know. So I would have had no idea about this. But at the time, I was the person taking the picture. So had over 25 pictures taken, really zoomed in on the bumper and everything before. So then when I took these pictures after, I made sure to zoom in on exactly where the other picture was before, so that Turo could see that, and I got it was over $750 for that. Ended up getting a good mechanic. They did it for about $500. So the point is that I wouldn't have been able to get that if my before and after pictures weren't very, very specific and that people could actually see it, right? Okay, so let's talk about total losses. When I'm gonna talk about total losses, first let's talk about the 3 different categories that cars can be put into, right? First we have is above market value, you're gonna have at market value, and then you're gonna have below market value. So above market value means that, your car's in really good shape when they pull it on the national database based on the miles, the wear and tear, everything looking at the car. These are gonna be your top tier cars, right? The ones that are at market, it has a decent bit of wear and tear. Maybe it has a couple scratches. When it's pulled in the database, it's considered average, right? Then there's below market value. This is typically when, your car has some serious issues. Maybe it has some engine problems. Maybe needs new tires, needs new brakes. There's some things that are going to not tires, but brakes, things that would significantly take down the value of the car. That's going to be considered below market value, right? So now to get into how does this relate to Turo? So to give you an example, one of the students that we work with, they had it was a 2015 Subaru Forester. This car gets into an accident. Now, just so you and I know for the sake of the story, car is pretty messed up, but car gets into an accident. Person that we work with, our student, they go through the whole process. They talk to Turo, they're involved with Turo's insurance. Turo's insurance is like, that car's pretty messed up, but it seems like, the actual cash value of the vehicle was blank amount of dollars. I'm not allowed to exactly say what it is because it's not my car, but it's worth X amount of dollars. Now, the big thing about it being worth an X amount of dollars is, again, Turo relies heavily in their insurance company on the database that they pull these vehicles. So at the time that the car's in an accident, they're looking at the mileage, some of the different things that go into the car. The mileage is really one of the bigger things that they're looking at. Of course, they're looking at your before and after pictures to see, was the car in pristine shape? Some other things they're gonna look at was your inspection up to date if you're in a state that has inspection. Was your registration up to date? Like, they're gonna look at a lot of those things, but determining the actual cash value, I know that mileage is, as a rep told me, as in one of the reps from the insurance company, that is one of the biggest things that they're gonna be looking at. So when it comes to that total loss, the big thing is make sure that you're buying the cars for the right price. Now, typically at this channel, we talk about buying cars for 20 to 40% off of what their market value is, or I typically say MSRP because it's easier for people to understand, but whatever the market value of the vehicle is, therefore when the car if something does happen to it, then you can get the adequate amount of insurance money to be able to cover the cost that you put into the car, or if you bought it discounted, maybe you'll get a little bit more money where you make money off the car because you bought it right? All right, so the next thing that we're gonna talk about is the sale of a car, right? Now, the big thing when it comes to selling cars is that it all depends on how did you buy the car, right? Now, to tell you guys a story, I hate to admit it, when I first started, there was a car that I didn't buy right. Now, what does it look like to not buy a car right? It means that, again, this is when I started, so cut me some slack. I went to a dealership, talked to the sales guy, thought I was getting a good deal on the car. Come to find out, a couple months later, I was only getting 10% off of MSRP, right? So when something ended up happening to that car, and it did get into an accident and ended up being a total loss, the actual cash value that they gave me on that car was not enough money to pay the loan that I got on that car originally. So I know now everybody's watching this video, they're like, oh, what did you do? Like, how were you able to cover the remaining amount? This is where I've talked about in previous videos. I get gap insurance on all my vehicles that I get loans for. The whole purpose of the gap insurance is that it covers the gap for what the amount of money for the loan is. So when I say the amount of money for the loan is, what does that mean? If the total amount of a loan is $15,000 or $20,000, right? Actual cash value of the vehicle at the time of the accident is only $15,000. That means that I owe $5,000. The gap insurance is going to cover that $5,000. That's why I'm a big proponent of that. But again, if I would have purchased the vehicle right, that gap insurance wouldn't have been as severe. And it's nice that I had the gap insurance because that was something that I was told to get by my mentors, especially because I was financing. But the point is, if you're buying cash or financing, you want that to be the least amount as possible. Because when there's a massive gap, now the gap insurance is going to ask you a ton of questions. It's not that they won't cover it. It's just the investigation period is significantly longer, and that's just longer time where now, and let me tell you something, when you get insurance money from Turo doesn't write you a check for $15,000. They pay that directly to your loan company. So remember in this original example, there's still $5,000 that's owed on the loan. You have to keep paying the remainder of that $5,000 on a monthly basis, whatever your monthly payment is, until you get the gap money. Now, I know the people that listen to Car Rental Coach here, you guys are smart, you're with it, you're quicker than the average person. So what you're seeing here now is that, let's say that you have 5 cars and one of them's down, but you're still paying the payment. Well, now that's dragging down the amount of cash that you have on a monthly basis, right? Now you have less cash that you're working with, less cash that you can use to expand, less cash that you can use to delegate and hire out people to make your job easier. I would say that's actually the number one reason, especially when you're financing, why it makes sense to get the cars below MSRP or below market value. So, negotiate, wheel and deal, make sure that you are getting the best deal for your car. Because if you're not, and again, on the cash scenario, it's not that much better, right? Because you buy a car for $20,000 and okay, the actual cash value is only $15,000. Now you're just out that other $5,000. Like there is no gap insurance, there is no nothing. So cash wise now you're not underwater, but you lost money on that deal. And we know as business owners, I know that losing money, it happens to all of us, right? We're all gonna take risk, it happens to the best of us. But you wanna minimize that loss as much as possible. All right, now this is a big thing that not a lot of people talk about in the majority of their videos, which is why I wanted to go over it, because it was something that was brought to my attention by my business partner. It was something that I didn't even know about a year into the business, which is diminished value claims. What is a diminished value claim? So to make this as simple as possible, your car gets into an accident, right? And your renter or whoever it was, they're not at fault. Somebody hits them, they're at fault. Even when you go, you talk to the repairman, let's say the car's not totaled, you get money from Turo to repair the car, your car's repaired, you're happy, you're like, oh great, I'm happy that it's back on the road. Well, wouldn't you agree that your car isn't worth the same amount of money that it was worth before it got wrecked? Because what's the biggest thing? Anybody on this channel that's bought a car, typically you're asking for the Carfax. You want to see a history of what happened with the car. When you see an accident, that diminishes the value of what your car was worth. This is a specific claim then that you can make with the other person's insurance, where you can essentially get the amount of money of the value that was lost for your car. So your car gets into an accident, now it's worth $2,000 less of market value. They'll give you $2,000. Now, I love this one because this is one I didn't know about. So now we do it on all of our cars, but that was a really cool thing that I was excited to share with you guys. Now, the sixth thing that I want to go over is fees. Fees are one of my favorite things because a lot of people don't even claim fees. And fees you have to be diligent on, telling everybody now. Typically, it's not something that you'll get right when you file it. So what are fees, right? There are gas fees. So a prime example for all of our vehicles, we have it where we tell people it has a full tank of gas. We would appreciate if you drop it off with a full tank of gas. It's in our policy. If they don't drop it off with a full tank of gas, then you get to charge them to put gas in it, and Turo normally gives you a convenience fee for that, right? So you get like 20 bucks, something like that. Another one I like to talk about, smoking. Literally just claimed a smoking. We just claimed, when was this? Like 2-3 weeks ago. Somebody was smoking marijuana in our car. Now, the big thing when it comes to smoking is that you would think just because you can smell it that you can claim it. Not how it works when you work with Turo. You have to prove to them that somebody was smoking in your vehicle. Now, there are two ways that you can do this. One, you get an ozone machine. It'll tell you if somebody's smoking. You just send them the results of that. Boom. Get $150 for a smoking claim. What was nice was this way. Typically when people smoke in your car, this is how it goes too. The marijuana was all over the back seat of the car. Like I was finding like little nuggets and little pieces of it all over. So that was a pretty easy claim because I just took pictures of it right where it was sitting and I was like, oh yeah, this person definitely smoked in my car. And Turo was like, oh yeah, they did. Here's another $150. Now, another thing is cleaning. And again, I want to pause here for a second. Before and after pictures are super important. If you don't have those pictures beforehand showing no marijuana or ashes or whatever it is, you will not get the claim. The same thing goes for gas. If you don't have a picture showing exactly what your gas was before and you type it into the Turo app, they ask you where's the tank at and what is the mileage, you will not get covered for it. So we actually might do a video on that. Before and after check-in and check-out process. That's gonna be a video because it's ultra important. But that's another big thing when it comes to smoking. So in your before and after pictures, we clean our vehicles after every trip. So when I'm saying cleaning is in, we're running the vacuum through them, we're wiping everything down. We have a deal with the car wash where we can run it through for a certain amount monthly. So our cars are always very pristine. One reason why I like doing this, great customer service, helps me with great reviews, and I like to give a good overall experience in business. I mean, it's kind of an important thing, but want to give a great experience. So the car's always clean beforehand. I take pictures of when it's clean beforehand. So when somebody brings the car back and there are water bottles all in the back seat and there's McDonald's wrappers in the back or somebody stuck gum to the steering wheel, that's all stuff that I can take pictures of. And for cleaning, you get $250. Now, the big thing I want to stress to you guys in reference to this, especially when it comes to all these claims. I almost forgot about one. Tolls and tickets. So Turo has it where they connect with like EasyPass, SunPass, some of those. If you live in the states where they have that, then you could connect that directly to your Turo account. And then after every trip, check to see if the people have any tolls or something. It'll automatically upload them. You just click charge and then boom, it'll charge the person. Now, tickets are a little bit of a different ballgame. About a month ago, we had a guy, which this is crazy, he got $400 worth of speeding tickets. Now, I sent the tickets to him and said like, hey, here are your tickets. Didn't hear anything from him. Turo doesn't just give you the money for that. The same thing with the smoking, the cleaning, and all these things. They didn't just give me the money because this guy went and, he decided to go on a little joyride. He's going 70 and a 30. Like, he was flying. But the point is, they don't just give you the money, that $400. You have to follow up with them once. You have to follow up with them twice. Personally, I think it's worth it because that's basically extra income that's coming into your business. Now, when I'm saying these things, tolls and tickets are more so reimbursements. They're not a way to get extra money. The extra money that you're getting is more so from like the cleaning, the smoking, the gas. That's more so extra money. These you just want to make sure that you're getting reimbursed for because you don't get a convenience fee for tolls and you don't get one for tickets. But you want to make sure you're reimbursed because a prime example, this guy going 70 and a 30, it was caught by it's one of those cameras where it like catches people when they're going too fast. That gets sent to my address. So overall, I'm the one that's responsible, but all I have to do is send Turo a picture of that and say like, hey, this happened under this time when this person was on a trip, and they make sure to, It's either the person pays the money or they pay you the money. And you definitely want to make sure you're keeping track of these things because you don't want to fall behind. And then you notice that instead of your business getting the 50% margin that it could be getting, maybe it's only getting a 20% margin or 10% margin. This stuff makes a significant difference, and it should be something that you should be looking at on a daily basis. Depending on how many cars you have, every time that a car comes back, clean the car, get your after pictures before you clean the car. Then clean the car for the next trip, wait until it's within a 24-hour time frame of the next trip, take pictures of the car to show that it looks good. Then when the car comes back, take the pictures of what it looks like. Somebody smoked in your car, there are ashes, car comes back trashed, gas isn't full, go ahead, get yourself reimbursed. Those ones you get a convenience fee. The other ones, unfortunately, you don't. And gas, it kind of depends. You don't always get a convenience fee for gas, but sometimes you do. All right, so that concludes the video. To go over the 6 things here again, the first is the pricing. You want to make sure, if you're super serious, you're adjusting it on a daily basis. If you're one of those people where you're like, it's more of a side hustle, Peter, on a weekly basis, please, because the prices change consistently. Next is when it comes to damage claims, want to make sure you're getting before and after pictures, because if there's a little scratch or something on your vehicle and you want to get it fixed, definitely make sure you claim it, because that does affect your ratings and things when there are big scratches, cracks, things like that. Next is when it comes to total losses. Make sure that you're buying your car right, so then if it does come to it for the insurance giving you money, then it covers the amount of your loan, or you get a little bit more money than what you paid for it. Hopefully that all depends on if you buy right. Next big thing is if you end up selling the car at the end of the day, again, want to make sure that you purchase the car between 20 to 40% under MSRP. When I did it at 10, it caused me a problem more so with insurance, but it'll also cause you an issue if you want to sell there going on down the road, right? My favorite one that I went over in this video, diminished value claims. Your renter's driving, somebody hits their car, your car now is worth less. Felt like I was Better Call Saul there. Your car is worth less, and you want to make sure that you are getting that money that pertains to the loss in value for your car, right? The next is when it comes to fees. Your smoking fees, your cleaning fees, gas, all of these ones where you can get money that you would otherwise not have, want to make sure that you're getting them. And again, how do you get them? You'll want to make sure that you're taking your before and after pictures. And that's all, guys, for the video. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe. And if you're serious about the business, go to carrentalcoach.com, fill out that survey, and hopefully we'll be working with you.